So Kyle, your slings, your 2-point slings have really become basically a staple in the industry. And we have a lot of new buyers out there, first-time rifle buyers, and they're wondering and they're calling us saying, hey, how do we attach this? Because they're obviously finding out about the sling, but they haven't had enough experience yet to really know the best way to attach it. So would you mind walking us through kind of what you look for and how you attach it and how you run the sling?
Okay, so the first thing that I do, Dave, is I take the end that's sewed fast to the quick adjust buckle, that goes to the rear of the weapon. Now these are made especially long, so if you want to put it on a shotgun, you're able to do that. And one of the other things I try to do, if you're a right-handed shooter, I actually take the sling and I start on the right-hand side of the weapon, if I have on my buttstock, if I have a place to do this, I'll go from the right side, down, under, around, and then I'll go back through the tri-glides. And once I go through the tri-glides, I don't tighten that all the way down because I may have to make some adjustment. And the reason I do this is because this hangs naturally and keeps the weapon tight against your body as a right-handed shooter. If I switch to support side, it gives me some room for this to slide so I don't choke myself out when I'm doing that transition with the sling still attached. And the other thing that we need up front is you need a push button quick detach or a way to connect your sling. Here I've got a push button quick detach with a low profile sling mount that is also a Viking Tactics product, but that way you can move that wherever you want it. I try to move that front portion of the sling out a good ways so that when I sling the weapon across my back, I still have the ability to tighten it pretty tight against my body. So then I'm going to take those two buckles, put them a little bit closer together on the front, slide my sling through, and I'm going to go back through the tri-glide.
In relation to the front hand grip, do you try to have this position so it's slightly behind the front hand grip, or is it just personal preference?
It's probably better to have it either right at or slightly behind so that when you grab there, you're not getting in the way of all this. Some guys will put the thumb up a little bit high, or they'll go to activate a light or whatever, so you might want to move it slightly back. Then I'll take the sling, I'll put it on, and I want to make sure with the sling in position, I can grab the free running end and cinch that down. Okay, that's about right for me. Maybe a little bit tighter on the top there because it's a little bit easy to get to. So, and what you want to also be able to do is if you want to over tighten the sling, if you continue to pull, this tail retainer is going to come loose and you can cinch the sling to hold the weapon tight against your body, and that's about right for me right there. So I'll take the front, I'll do the same thing, run the sling through, back through the buckle, and I can go through both of those when I have time. And at that point, the front is good to go, the rear is good to go, and your sling is attached. Ideally, you want to have this sling only the length that you need to make it work. So for me, if I go to this point right here, the longest I want is when I go to my support side. When I go to my support side now, I have plenty of sling so I'm not choking myself out. You can see what happens here. This slides down. When I go back to my strong side, it pulls that back up to where it's going to go. If you have push button quick detaches back here, quick detach swivels, I would put that on the opposite side away from your body to help keep the weapon tight against your body. I prefer to run it around the top like that, but if you want the quick detach capability to go from gun to gun, you can do that.
Sure.
Or for my purpose, I just get another sling.
So Kyle, talk to us about the advantages of a 2-point sling over a single point sling.
Okay, the 2-point allows you to cinch the sling tight against your body, cinch the weapon tight against your body. So if you're going to be climbing or putting handcuffs on somebody, this is a little bit better advantage here to keep the weapon tight to your body. I can cinch that even tighter if I want. With a single point, what's going to happen is the gun's going to flop around. You've actually got to keep your hands on the weapon. This also works nice if I decide to sling across my back to climb, then I can just grab the free running end again, cinch the sling down, and now the weapon is tight against my back. Those are probably the biggest advantages. Some folks will say that transitioning from strong to support side with the 2-point sling is very slow. And as you can see, it's not slow to get from one side to the other as long as you know what you're doing. So it just gives you the ability to retain your weapon a little bit better. If you're going to be running, if you got to carry somebody or whatever it might be, it's a little bit easier to use this sling than a single point.
Sure.
Dave, I'll tell you the best way to get the feel for these slings though is actually to go on the range and use them. So why don't we head down range and try them out?
Cool.